Sam from Manfa's Makes and
Moose Mike.
So welcome back to all our returners and hi to any newbies. It is so great to have you here. Please do stick around a while, and if you like what you see, give us a thumbie. They are free. So if you are new here, you will not know what we do every week here on a Thursday, but you OGs know it and love it so well. It is, of course,
Tile of the week, Thursday.
okay. Tile of the week Thursday. Some of you will be like, no, what is this? Well, over a year ago, I received this book in Happy Mail off my Amazon wishlist. I am not sponsored or affiliated by Amazon or the producers, creators and designers in this book. None of them actually know that we do this, which is a pretty good job if you're called Hattie Risdale or Katie Moore. But I got it in Happy Mail, not the July just gone, the July before in 2022. It is 100 crochet tiles edited by Sarah Callard, plethora of designers inside. And I, without thinking, said, I'm going to make all 100 tiles, one a week, till it's done. Didn't do any mental maths. And it became apparent that this is going to take the best part of 2 years. Here we are, guys. This is tile number 57. So we're over the halfway point. Yay! But we've still got the majority of a year to go. So, like I said, tile 57. We are in the mosaic chunk of the book. And when I say chunk, I mean chunk. There are not many after the mosaic section to get to the 100. This is going to be a common theme for the coming weeks. It's just different designs. This week's was called Hand Painted, and surprise, you get to see it for the first time on this channel because I didn't show you last week. Sorry. It is Hand Painted by Anna Marie Sorez. Still not sure if that's how you say her name. That's how I say it. Apologies if it's wrong. That is the look we were going for. That's what she was instructing us to do. So you can clearly see that that is a mosaic design. Now she asked for 2 colours, a solid and a variegated. She recommended a sport or 4-ply weight. We didn't do that. We use DK weight because that is what most of our scraps are. And for those of you that are new, I have a whole bin of scraps down there, and we're trying to use them up, but it's not really happening because I do other crochet projects and just keep adding to it. But the majority of the scraps are 3 weight or DK. We both did use a solid. We both did use a variegated. I will explain about mine in a minute because it's not as a high contrast as Mike's. She then recommended a 3mm hook because she used a sport weight. Well, we used a DK weight and we both used a 4mm Clover and more. We are Clover hookers. That's our preferred brand of hook. So that is what we used. There was 20, no, that's the wrong pattern. 21 rounds plus an edging, but the edging was literally 1 round. We have looked ahead, and most of these mosaic tiles are around the 20 round mark, so they are all going to be fairly big. But that is because in order for you to get a decent mosaic pattern, you have to build up your rounds, so it stands to reason. This one, I don't think either of us found particularly challenging after we had already done last week's. The only thing that did stump us at the beginning, so that was a bit of a fib, the first hour of attempting this one was the most frustrating hour I have had in a very long while, and that is because the way this designer does her corners is nothing like I have ever done before. You use one yarn in one corner, and then in the opposite corner you use the other yarn, so you're kind of going around without ever meeting the 2 yarns together. And what she asks you to do in the corner is to chain 3 and, you know, pull up a long loop and leave it there and go back to the other colour on the opposite side. And when you're going around, you have to go over that chain 3 in the corners, leaving the working loop on the back So you complete the round and then you go back to that dangling loop on the back of the tile. It took a little bit for Manfa to figure that out. I'm always honest on this channel. Yes, I've been doing this 9, 10-ish years, but I don't know everything. And when I come across something that I have not experienced before, or it's a technique that I'm not familiar with, it bamboozles my brain a little bit, guys, and it takes a while to figure out. Now, it was actually Mike that figured out that it was the opposite corners, because I couldn't even work out where she was asking us to join the yarn to begin with. But as soon as he figured out that it was literally polar opposite corners, I was then able to, or we both were able to count the stitches that we had already made before the second yarn got introduced and go through that row, that pattern, that bit of the pattern, and count the stitches along, and it worked. So Mike's theory of it being opposite played out once we counted our way around, and then we figured out what she meant, because she does say in the notes, do not fasten off at the end of each round after making your 3 chain string. First stitch after 3 chain string and first stitch of next 2 chain space corner are worked over the same 3 chain string. And even me reading it, I'm stumbling over reading it because my brain goes, huh? What? It took a minute. In fact, it took an hour. Once we had figured out and we had joined in the right place, we just whoop, 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 and we were absolutely fine. But there was a little bit of confusion to begin with. But we rectified it between us, and actually Mike was the one that figured out the corner thing. So, you know, we're starting to work as a team, and Mike is more of a practical, hands-on, physical solution type person, whereas I am the read the theory and try and put it into practice. So between us, we have got the skills to make it work, but we need to put our heads together so that he can visually see. If he's looking at something, he can visually see what needs to happen. Me, I need someone to tell me, but they need to tell me in very clear speak, like I'm an alien. Like, you need to keep it simple, guys. And between us, we figured it out. So we were a good team on this one, I feel. Now, going to my tile, and I'll show you mine first because Mike's has a bit more of a wow factor to it, if you ask me. I very sillily, and I know that's not a real word, but I'm making it a word tonight because I don't want to call myself stupid. I'm not stupid. But I was silly, and I picked 2 yarns that are very close in colourway. So therefore my design is not quite so poppy and punchy and in your face obvious. I know when you do mosaic you're supposed to have a real contrast of colours, but I thought I knew better in this occasion, and I was going to do matchy-matchy, and it didn't really work out how I hoped it would. But that's okay. I still did it. We still figured it out, and we still got it done. I just have a little bit of regret now that I didn't use a bit more of a high contrasting colour. You'll see what I mean when Mike shows his in a minute. So here's mine. So you can still see the design, but it is very subdued and it's more subtle. You have to look harder to see the pattern, but it's there and it is done.
It's actually easier to see it on the camera.
Yes. I can see it clearly showing this on the camera, but when I turn it around and look, you have to really kind of...
I think the colour, because the colour's muted on there, you can see it, but the actual colour of the tile is like, bah!
So for me, this would be more of a demure rug pattern if you don't want something that's in your face and smacks you in the what's-its of, oh, I'm mosaic, look at me. If you wanted mosaic but you wanted a more subdued way of displaying it, this would be how you would do it. If you want that pop in your face, here I am, you do something like Mike's done. So you show yours.
Pow!
See? See? So Mike did it correctly this week.
There you go.
And because he had got over his initial getting his head around how mosaic worked last week, he flew through this week's, and he's actually really, really enjoying mosaic.
Yes, I am.
He even muttered, I can make my own mosaic pattern, I reckon.
Why have you told
see.
him that?
Well, because, you know, don't say these things if you don't mean it. It'll be when he's retired, which is going to be in at least 30 years. But he enjoys it that much that I think if you were going to design any pattern, it would be a mosaic that he tries to design, because I think it just ticks all the boxes for Mike. He can clearly see where he's going with it. It's literally like his stitches make a pathway in mosaic, whereas in his other crochet, it takes a while for the pattern to emerge and for him to see where it's going and what the end result's going to look like. But with this, instantly, as soon as he joins that contrasting colour, it just ding, 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 there it is. And it holds your interest.
And every round, I can see where I need to put everything before you've said it.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. It's all the building blocks line up.
There it is.
Yeah. He can see it before it materialises. And I think it ticks a lot of boxes for Mike in the fact that he's excited to get that pattern in that piece. He wants to see that pattern made. No mantrams when it comes to mosaic. It's the calmest crochet he ever does. I think we have found Mike's... But actually mosaic for a lot of people is everyone's... But then Mike is always the opposite. So that kind of fits Mike's bill, to be fair. And he's laughing because it's true. But yeah, if we hold them up next to each other, mine is definitely more muted, more subtle. Mike's is definitely slap you in the face, I'm a mosaic, look at me. Which is
typical for my personality.
But even though I feel silly for doing that, because I do know better, it's a good way of us showing you how it would look if you use a colour similar to the palette of the variegated you use. Because if we go back to the original, she's used a navy with lilacs and golds and greens. So there is a stark contrast in hers as well. But you can still get the effect, guys, no matter what colours you use. So actually, I think, without knowing it, we have managed to do a very helpful visual for you to kind of see how those sorts of things would play out. So in hindsight, it wasn't as silly as what I first thought. And I think if Mike's going to attempt other projects other than hugs, I think you're wanting to explore the mosaic route a little bit more, aren't you?
A little bit, yeah.
It's piquing his interest, guys.
Yes,
it's giving him... Normally, the tiles put him off picking up a hook for the rest of the week. He don't want to do it. He's had enough. No. Lost his crojo because he hates the tiles. But yesterday, last week, when he did his first mosaic, once he got his head around the building of it and the construction of it, he was well away. And this week, he was like... Well, a kid in a sandbox. He was just having the time of his life. Which was so much nicer for me. So, yes, I enjoy mosaic, but not as much as Mike, I don't think. Sorry about that, guys. Kids. Anyway, so, long story short, Mike loved it. I enjoy mosaic. But I've got a lot more on my to-do list before I do a big project in mosaic again. So it's nice to do these little short projects in it. So I think we're going to be all right in this mosaic section. I was actually really worried about it, thinking the mantrams are just going to get off the charts. But actually, it's the complete opposite. He has pleasantly surprised me, and I think you actually surprised yourself. And I think we're going to be all right. We're going to see these mosaics through. So, would you like to see... Oh, hang on, no. We'll show you next week's in a minute. The beautiful Josephine. I haven't yet received an email from her, but I'm pretty sure that I will. Please go and check out her beautiful work over on my community tab, because it's always lovely to see other people joining in and doing it with us. If you want to know who else is joining in on this crazy journey, just go into the YouTube search bar at the top of your YouTube page and put in hashtag Tile of the Week Thursday, and anyone who has used that hashtag in either a video or a community tab post will pop up. And there are quite a few of us, actually. And it was never meant to be a crochet along, but other people wanted to jump on board and do it as well, which is fabulous, and we really appreciate it. So yeah, go and give Josephine some love on the community tab, and you will see this colour better, because I always take a picture of our tiles to show you accurate colour, because my camera's a little bit on that. Now would you like to see next week's? It is tile number 58. I'm going to remember to show you this week, guys. It is called Snowflake Sweets, and it is again by Anna Marie Soares, and she's working the corners the same as this week. So now we know how to do it. We're all good. She is recommending, again, 2 colours, but this time in a light worsted or a DK, so lightweight 3 or DK, so we're sorted. That's what most of our scraps are. But she recommends a 3.5mm hook. We'll probably just stick to our 4, because that is our most comfortable hook. And it is 2 solid colours this time, not a variegated. And this is what that design is going to look like, hopefully. That's what we are going to be attempting. Snowflake Sweets. There we go. Now, have I got all of the pattern to tell you how many rounds it is? No, I do not. But that's okay. I still have the book on the table. So we will just sort that out for you. Here we go. Oh, and if you do get this book, get it spiral bound, because all the pages just tear out and fall out. Half of this book is... or get the electronic version, Kindle or that kind of thing, because then you can magnify and do all sorts of technological wizardry that Manfa isn't, you know. So this one is 21 rounds again with 1 round of edging. So it's pretty much same construction-ish as last time, just another little pretty design. So I think we're going to be okay. I think we'll come back on and tell you that we had an okay time. I have said before that this isn't the most looked forward to piece of crochet every week, but I do look forward to seeing your guys' reactions, because this is the most popular segment on this channel, and now we have got into a section that so far all is calm. We could get through the next few months a-okay, and it will be mosaic for months. Just
actually enjoying these, so I do look forward to it.
There you go. Complete 360. I was trying to work out how many degrees in a circle, because I'm tired.
That may change.
It might.
That might change.
They might get a little bit tiresome after a few weeks. You never know.
I'm not going to say that. It's just obviously sometimes we pick the wrong time to start. It just depends.
Trying to fit it in with our schedule is a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. And I think if you knew more of our schedule and where we slot things in to bring this weekly segment, you would understand a lot of the frustration. But it's our issue, and we still get it done, and we bring it to you every week, and we will do so because you guys love it. We will be back next week with the next one, and actually I'm quite looking forward to this one, because it looks fairly simple, if I dare to say, but I don't know yet. I haven't tried it. So yeah, like I said, search for everyone else doing this. Go give Josephine some love on the community tab, and if you want to see the real colour of this as well, it will be there for you to peruse.
You can't really mistake that colour. It's black
that's
and rainbow.
Pretty accurate. And then we'll head on back here tomorrow, because it will be time for crochet catch up, which is what all other crochet we have managed to get done in the past week. So
and for me, quite a bit.
It's still just one project, but it's a lot on that one project, is what he's trying to say.
I don't normally do that many.
I feel like I have been a little bit squirrely tonight, and I apologise for that, but it is Right, you know I've been moaning for weeks that all it's done is rain. Well, now the universe heard that and have now put me in temperatures hotter than Hades. And Manfa doesn't cope very well with the heat. I'm struggling, guys. I'm really struggling. And doing the physical job that I do, I'm a housekeeper for those that don't know, which means I scrub. I make beds, I hoover, I dust, I polish, I scrub toilets, clean showers and baths and mop and you name it for a 16-bedroom hotel. In temperatures hotter than Hades with no air conditioning, because air conditioning isn't a thing in the UK. No, it's not. It's not worth spending the money on it because we get like a week of it. So Manfa's struggling. I think not only did I lose about half a ton of sweat today, I think my brain might have melted and escaped me today. So I do apologise for the squirreliness. Hopefully I'll be more on point tomorrow, but it is going to continue with these temperatures over the next few days. So no promises. And any questions, anything that I've forgotten, please put down in the comments like a couple of you did last week about not showing what's to come. I do apologise about that. But anyway, crochet catch up tomorrow where hopefully I'm a little bit cooler and a little less squirrely and the video flows a little bit better. But until we see you tomorrow,
Stay safe.
be kind.
Look after one another.
Get some good quality time in with your loved ones.
Get some good quality crafting time in.
Try a little bit of mosaic. We'll see you around the YouTube streets. No. We'll see you in the next one.
All around the YouTube streets.
Bye, guys. See?
Bye.
Squirrely. Brain's gone. Bye. Love you.